QueerCentric is a platform for voices in the margins. It's a place where we can talk about anything because the art of conversation is missing, and I want it to be a place where we sit down and we talk about important subjects that affect all of us that are in the community. And it just so happens to be I'm a big old weirdo. I just want to do it all because here's the big secret that everybody knows and no one really talks about. You live one time. And I don't care if you're 20 or 112. If you want to do something, do it. Because it's never going to be a better time than right now. Welcome. It is a brand new season of the QueerCentric. I've kept you waiting for a good 4 months, and it's time to get back into it. Our latest episode was released last week, and this is the first of many roundtables I hope to have over this year. This has been something that's just, sometimes things just tickle my mind, and I want to talk about it. So I've been very curious about how influencers work, and how I want to go by the angle of, first of all, what it's like, the pressures, but also how it affects the communities and the cities that we live in. And that's what we're going to do today. So first, I want to welcome Vanessa Owens, also known as Pumpkin Loves You on Instagram.
Hi.
You are our official influencer of the show.
Oh my God. Thank you.
So are you excited to be here? No, not really.
Yes, I am. I'm gonna have anxiety, but I love you, so I'm here.
See, and we adore her. Trust me, I try to get as many.
Anxiety.
Love anxiety. Try to get all the pictures with you at any event that I'm at because it's so
favorite.
much fun.
Thank
Right
you.
next to you is someone I call an accidental influencer. He is an artist, absolutely the most beautiful creations you've ever seen.
Yes.
So we want to welcome Matt Schwink to the show.
guys.
You've been on before?
Where's my camera?
I know.
Where are
my
we supposed to
angle?
look?
Where's my angle? Your cameras are right there.
I want yours.
I know, right? Mine's the good camera. It has soft lighting and Vaseline to
Got it,
keep it like that.
me
But
look
you
at the
are what I call an accidental influencer because you're online
That's a funny
because it's for your art. You do
Yeah,
everything for your
yeah.
art. So for you, your focus is not necessarily the numbers, but you're hoping that those numbers you
Yeah,
have
well, no, I
help
mean,
you.
you obviously have to jump through a lot of hoops
Yeah,
in order to
yeah.
get what you want seen.
We're going to talk a little
yeah.
about, sometimes a lot of people talk about this, but having to get a little thirsty to
Oh,
get the, yeah.
I've dabbled.
I know, right? I mean, so we're going to talk a little about that as well, but over here is someone else who's been on our show before. You will recognize Laura Estares,
Hello.
who is my favorite girl to go to coffee with because we talk about everything.
My favorite.
Or tea.
My favorite.
Yes,
girl.
or tea.
Or tea.
So
yes.
you are here because you're going to come up. We're going to talk about a different angle that I don't think we talk about a lot, which is there's a new economy over the last decade that has become, and you are in the urban planning program. That's the word. Urban planning program at Eastern Washington University. So we're going to talk a little bit about how cities can leverage the influencers they have in their town to maybe help this new economy. And so that's going to include all of us here today. Before we go any further, we want to thank everybody at Lunarium for hosting us today, letting
They're
us
the
be
best.
loud, letting us sit in a corner table and try to be demure.
Yeah.
We try to be demure
And mindful.
and mindful.
And cutesy.
And
So
cutesy.
cutesy.
Listen, the tea we're celebrating right now is Basic Witch, which I live for this.
Witch.
It's
Yes.
really good, yeah.
So our three main guests here are having that right now, but we love Lunarium. So if you're in the Spokane area, we definitely suggest that you come here, relax, have some tea, have some Vietnamese coffee, which Laura just had, and have a good conversation, which is what I'm all about, is a good conversation. So let's start. Are you ready?
Yes.
This is like a little
ready.
quiz
Phone,
show.
though, just in case.
Just
Because I know there's a few things, protocols we gotta follow here.
like, hello.
all right.
This is what's fascinating to me. So I always, before a show, before I do my research, is I look into it a little deeper, and I just write them down in case I need that soundbite. This is what's fascinating. Do you know that influencing has been a part of culture since the Roman times? Did you know who our first influencers were? Anyone?
So this is we're talking about the Roman Empire right now.
Yeah, I know, right? Because I
Helen of
felt
Troy.
like I told you I'm a basic witch. So obviously, I didn't talk about it. Gladiators were actually the first influencers. They were leveraged to help businesses in Rome build. And so they were the ones going around kind of, pimping the wares and all of that stuff. So, and then we move up to blogging, which happened like the 2000s that
Which
took
happened
over.
shortly after the Roman.
Just a little bit.
Just a little,
bit.
little after.
I'm just
long past.
speeding up history for us.
Yeah,
Then we
nothing
went to
happened in between
blogging.
that.
When blogging blew up, what came naturally out of blogging about the year 2000 was influencers. So, Vanessa, I want to start with you.
Oh God.
How did you stumble into influencing, or did you
Actual influencer.
plan that and you're like, I got this?
No, it was very accidental. It's a weird story, but when
You're in the right place. We love weird stories.
so like I was just on Facebook for a little bit, but I wasn't really active on there too much, and it was private, obviously. And then I came across a plus size model named Tess Holiday, and I was like, wow, someone that looks like me, that feels like me, is doing these kind of things, modeling, traveling, food reviews, everything. And that's kind of where that little seed was planted in my head. But it would be years later that I was having a conversation with my husband about things we wanted to do with whatever time we had left in life, because you never know how long that is.
Right.
And
true.
I was like, I'm just going to do this. I didn't know what I really wanted to do, other than basically I knew just maybe wear some outfits and post a picture here and there. I didn't know how much work it was going to be, how much criticism I would go through or bullying, what a community would be out there for me that I don't want to cry, that I never knew my heart needed, that I just I don't want to ever live without. What was the question?
No, yeah, exactly what you're saying. Like how you got into it. How it
Yes. And I'm still in shock. I'm 2 years as of August into this already, and I'm just so incredibly excited and honored. And it's
you
just
are
so
solid.
fun.
Like you have the numbers that back you. First of all, we all know that what we show.
You always cheer me on.
Oh my
I
God,
love it.
sweetheart.
What we show online, isn't always what the truth is, but you always make me smile every single time I see.
Same,
And
same,
you
same.
have
Thank
these
you,
solid
babe.
numbers.
Thank
so
you.
now, I'll get a sash for you that says influencer. But
Oh
now
my
you
God.
are officially that. So is that your life now? Is
Get a
that your
hashtag
job?
for it. That's what we want. Get a hashtag
It's
for it.
very much just a passion hobby. I barely made any money from it, and I only do what I'm like physically and mentally capable of that day, week, 5 minutes, whatever it is I'm doing. What's best for me,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not really an income. It's just strictly, that's why when somebody asks me, like, what's your platform or what you do, I have a really hard time answering. I'm like, I don't know. It's body positivity and going for coffee sometimes. Community is my absolute favorite, meeting people like you guys and getting to do community stuff. But that's just, I don't really consider myself an influencer. I have codes for things, sometimes a discount thing, but I'm not plugging that all the time.
Right.
Some of my posts are like, a designated like modeling thing. I have like a timeline, and some are just, here's my outfit I wore to Costco to buy pumpkin muffins. Do you know what I'm saying?
Which is equally as fierce.
Yeah, so
Yes.
it's just, I try to cover everything. Body positivity, my mental health, how I'm feeling. Sometimes I feel like I'm like toxic positive. I just kind of want to be, be
Okay,
happy
first,
and show
I do
love.
not. I don't believe that's ever a thing. Toxic
It's too much
positivity.
sometimes.
You are
but
pretty cheerful.
Thank you. Well, I try, but
You're
it
amazing.
just
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah.
You.
Well, also, I don't think
It's
a
hard to
lot of
stay that
people.
line, too.
Yeah.
It's really hard
If
to
we
stay
think
positive.
about influencing, the other thing when you look at the different definitions is there is something known as a nano influencer.
I think I've heard of that.
It's because I'm short. No, it's
Jonathan.
because it starts as it's less about the numbers. You can have 1,000 to 1,000,000.
Yeah.
And it's more about, do you have influence over the circle that you have that
Yeah.
watch you? And that's when people started noticing. What really we see nowadays is marketing influence, and that's what people want. But you can have that if you have followers, and you decide, I love body positivity, I love positivity, and I love community, and those are really what you do.
Yeah.
Vibe with. Now, let's talk about this. So, Danny Pintaro, who we all know from Who's the Boss days, he's coming back, he's doing a lot of stuff, and he recently put up a kind of a video on TikTok, and he wanted to talk about how he couldn't figure out why he just wasn't he was working so hard but wasn't fulfilled. And for him, it was, I'm trying to follow these rules that I just assume they are for being an influencer on these Instagrams, but he wants to do his art. So he did this big video saying, I love everybody. I will still be on here, but you have to be intentional about what it is to you. And this is something you and I had a conversation about because you are an artiste.
Yeah.
You have this amazing work that you do, and so you have the numbers
Well,
that are looking.
I did, yeah. I mean, and also it was a very different climate back when I was on my heyday online, because there used to be organic reach for the people that followed you, and now that, you know, like literally 19 out of 20 spots are now filled, they're paid for. Whether they're paid for by the advertiser or by one of the people you follow that now has to pay to even get any prevalence are shown, and they never had to before, those people have to pay. And so that's kind of changed things, at least with how far you reach and whatnot. And so, I'm sorry.
No, exactly what you're talking about. How it's very hard, because I think we've decided there's one definition for influencing and there isn't. And some people, you know, you have the numbers, but you are out there trying to sell your art.
So when I had the numbers though, people could choose to follow me, whoever they were. So let's say this random person does this, and this person's completely different, and this person's straight, and this one's gay, this one's woman, this one's a man, this one's, you know, just everyone's different. Yeah. And so, but because they followed me, they would see my content. And now that the ads and stuff have jumped in and stuff, that is reduced to maybe 1 out of 20 spots will get to be an organic reach spot. And then does my content match what is trending currently? Then that gives it a little up. And so since I don't have that, I'm not doing TikTok dance videos. Right. I'm not doing celebrity stuff or anything like that. Nothing I post in my world now is relevant for what is currently trending.
Or what is deemed relevant.
Which has been sad as an artist, because when you have a random following of people that see your stuff, who's an art client? Everyone's an art client. And so when you reach like everybody on the planet, they might like your painting. When it tries to show it to just people that are looking for paintings, well, no one's looking for just paintings on Instagram. Right. So there's no market for it to show my stuff in there then, you know? Right. So, yeah, so the numbers have been reduced quite a bit from that. And so, but yeah, it's funny though. So now I'm having, I didn't used to have to play the influencer game. I could just post what I wanted and what mattered to me, and people would see it or choose not to like it or whatnot or move on. But now you have to jump through this extraneous amount of hoops just to crest the lowest numbers that I used to, like, bottom of the barrel numbers that I used to consider the lowest numbers. I now do everything I can strive for to even hit a couple thousand people seeing a post.
So does it then...
but do you feel like you... Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Like, sometimes, because the numbers are hard, it's always changing. Yeah. Like your stats or whatever it says is on, isn't there? But like, do you still feel like the community still, your art community and the same people that buy from you and your normal friends are still seeing your stuff?
Not at all. No. I mean, like, and I can see with sales too. So if I posted a painting, it used to be there's 20 inquiries in the first hour. Yeah. Because it's being shown to 50,000 people, 60,000, 70,000 people. And now when it shows an art post to 300 people, and then I pay $100 to get it seen by another 200 people.
Yeah, the push is way different.
Is the boosting you're talking about?
Yeah, the boosting's outrageously expensive for what they give you. And so they've kind of left you now in a spot where you're like, how do I fit into the current climate and get my stuff seen?
Right, and so doesn't...
Which I haven't really figured out, to be honest.
Doesn't influence...
I'm a failed star.
No, you're not.
You're not. But don't you think that the hard part is if you're an artist and you're on there, this can only be a piece of what you overall end up having to do. Where in the early days, it was easier. Oh, yeah, well... Because the algorithms certainly have changed.
And also to sell art as well, like, I know for me, at least online, people love getting to know the person that they're following. And so there's different accounts, and some accounts, you're very personable, right?
Thank you.
You talk to people, you answer messages. You're always so kind, and people love communicating with you because you respond nice to them and stuff. And so, when you have people like that, sorry, I have a brain injury, guys.
No, you're going good. You're amazing.
Sorry, Jonathan.
That's what I've heard, actually.
That
you're amazing.
Oh, you are.
No, so you,
but it's that challenge of it's not being an influencer can only be this much. You have to look at a more holistic, really, because it's not like it used to be.
So people used to get to know you because they would see such a random assortment of your content. So like they might see what I had for lunch, and then they might see me making a joke about something, or they might see me taking a trip somewhere. Right. And that would give them a much bigger idea of what goes into my artwork and what to appreciate. And so when people don't see any of that now, they only get to see if I take my shirt off, unfortunately, which... I've never been a shy person, but it's very different when you're forced to take off your clothes and you want to take off your clothes.
There you go. I feel like
and it's also
now we get to experience what women have done their whole life, right?
Yes, exactly.
I mean, having to.
And
It's
and
awful.
it's
Yeah.
not as fun as it looks, guys.
Sweetheart.
You girls make it look so
Well,
fun.
and that's part
God.
of the discussion that's going around our culture, which is thirst traps. Or sometimes
Yeah.
you have to do those things to get what we're looking
but you
for.
get a lot of hate because now and then what's really sad is like people will yell at you online. Oh, well, you don't have to do that. Obviously, you're just not talented. That's why you have to do that. Or people will say, just be your authentic self.
is such crap.
But you're like, I don't get the opportunity to be my authentic self because the algorithm will not allow my authenticity to be shown to anyone.
Yeah.
There has to be a gimmick to it. So you have to figure out what kind of gimmick can I incorporate into showing the actual part of me.
Right.
So maybe I'll do something funny and nice, but I won't wear a shirt.
Right.
But you
I'll show
make it
to
look
people,
so
and I
artistic.
can say something.
I am
It's sad.
offended for you that someone ever said then you're not.
I know.
You know what that
I'm
says about the person who
Well,
said
I'm
you're not
just-
talented enough is they probably sit there.
Well, you get it daily. I mean, you know, like you spread positivity, and there's something about people that spread positivity that really rubs some people the wrong way, and so you end up with a certain type of person online that they have no pits in the fire with you. But they want to bring you down specifically because they see your joy.
It's true, and it's true.
That's
and
true.
this-
But it takes. Sorry.
Go ahead.
sorry.
No, please.
It takes a long time to sort of almost sadly get used to it when they're being that
Yeah.
way. But it has nothing to do with you, babe. Nothing
Yeah.
to do with you.
Yeah, but it's hard to.
It is
feel
really hard not to
that.
take it
Yeah.
personal.
Especially when you work a career in social media, or you rely on social media, which I've been out of a gallery for a long time, and I built up a big following of people that see my work. People always say, well, just don't pay attention to that stuff. And it's like, well, I have to read the message to see who wants to buy a painting. So, hey there, I just want to tell you, okay, let's open that up.
Yeah.
You're
Yep.
a loser and we hate you and you have no talent.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So sorry,
Like-
sweetheart.
Instead of, hi, can I talk to you? Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd love
exactly.
to buy your new painting. So I don't know until I've already read the message.
Right. Until,
Yeah.
so it's
And that
already.
has to affect you. I'm so
affects-
sorry.
Oh, yeah.
So
It does
this is
affect
a
you.
good. This is a good segue.
It's okay.
Is
Yeah, I've got
the
thick
positivity. The positivity is the thing. And so for me, when I look at it, and I go, how do we turn the trolls and all of the influencing into a positive spin? And Laura, I wanted to get your opinion on, does it ever cross your mind, like as you're going through the EWU program, is that something, do you
it
think
open?
that can be leveraged in a good way for the cities that we're in, which turns the job into something different? You know what I mean?
I don't know if I am the right person to answer.
You have an
this.
opinion for everything. You are the right person.
I have an opinion about everything.
Let's hear it.
I
Yeah.
feel I have very strong opinions, and
Okay.
I hate reading the comments. Self-care is not reading the comments if you can help it, especially as someone that is just in the community and not in front of the camera.
Right.
But one thing that has stuck with me in even before going through this program, when I was still just kind of advocating for communities that really work for the citizens and more accessible public transportation, is that there's this Japanese elected official. I can't remember the details, but he was asked about how to handle people that push back against like high-speed rail and like the like high-speed like bullet trains and all that kind of stuff. And he said, you know what? I find that over time, those opposers just kind of go away. And you know what? Like, he's right. Like, the people that are making comments online are the negative ones are the loudest.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
of
they
course
are.
they stick out.
It seems
Yeah.
to me to be a kind of a pattern too of our temperature currently in the country and the world and stuff. Because I've noticed when there's an angrier temperature, there's a lot more hate that comes to my page. And I don't know what happened, but like the past 3 months have been really positive, and I'm like, thanks guys.
Good.
Everyone's been nice,
Good.
and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, what changed? But something changed. And
Yeah.
now everyone's been really nice.
And I
Back
think
to
it's
the community.
important that we ride that wave because
Yes.
we never know. Life, like you were saying earlier, we never know what life has to bring for us. I do hope that it's a sign of hope. I think
Yes.
if people have hope, it changes the way that we interact with each other.
Yes.
Do you think, Laura, in your program, like, is there any talk of how do we leverage in a new economy? Because it is new. Ever since COVID, things have changed. The rules are different. We are not as interactive as we once were. We're hiding behind computer screens. Do you think, I feel personally that if a city is able to somehow leverage that, there might be hope. But do you guys talk about those things at all?
Well, I think overall, especially coming out of COVID, we're trying to reconnect with the community, with our neighbors, and how to interact with each other in person again, because it has been a very weird 4 years, and everything did go online, and so we were able to go from meeting to meeting to meeting throughout our day because it was all virtual.
We didn't have to wear pants. We just had
We
to
did
dress
not-
from the...
we
Some
did
of
not-
us still are.
We did not have to wear the hard pants. We could
Right.
wear pajamas, soft pants,
Yeah.
whatever. And a big part of urban planning in general is and should be getting feedback from the community and
Yes.
including them from the get-go versus maybe thinking about them more down the line or
Right.
thinking about even including them. Like they need to be included in part of the decision-making process as soon as is possible.
Yeah.
And so I think urban planners and people that kind of help shape our community in general are realizing that. I'm hoping so. And coming from a much more equitable, accessible standpoint than we used to.
Exactly.
But that is still a process, and you will get, negative comments, and they're gonna, still be loud about the things that they want. And
Right.
what I've learned so far is that you can't please everyone. And there is such a thing as a wicked problem where there's really no solution for it. So you just have to move forward
Right.
the best way possible. And another big part of it, of urban planning in general, is not only thinking about the citizens that live there currently, but like the generations
What's going on.
that'll come out.
And as humans, I think that there is this tendency, not always, that especially as the guard is not young, the guard is older, which I love older people. Older people, my birthday's next week, so send me gifts. But there is this, we get stuck in a box, and we decide there isn't a new way. And what I have been frustrated with is how do we recognize a new way and how do we frame it? Because as everybody has said at this table, there is this pushback in society anyways. You as an influencer just being who you are, and then people are jerks. You opening up an email and you're like, why did you take
Why
the
do you
time?
want me to die?
I
just
yes.
posted a picture of
I
my
get
puppy.
emails where I'm called disgusting and all
There's
that stuff.
little
so
things
much
you can do,
effort.
like
Yeah.
only click people I follow, and that's the message you'll see.
I've
Or
only,
Yeah.
I've only had one thing go viral this year, but it was viewed by millions and millions of people, and it was me going through a car wash, going, car wash!
that's
I actually love that
fun,
video,
Those
by
are
the way.
fun, yeah.
I used to go through car washes with my dad when I was a kid. I'm like, so with my social media, I'm like, okay, I need to be more myself.
Yes.
And funny and happy
Right.
again. So I've been posting a lot of more nonsensical stuff.
And your dog?
Yeah, my dog.
I
Just fun
love.
stuff, yeah.
Well, it brings up a thing. So we were recently at an event at the same time. We went because Broadway.
Yes,
We
love
were a
you.
company, and I spotted you immediately. I already knew you were going to be there, but when we
you
were
did?
in, yeah.
Oh,
I'm a
sweetheart.
stalker, but in a good way.
Oh, I love
All
you.
a
I
good
love
way.
it. I love it.
But you, there is an air you bring into a room that is very.
Jonathan,
It's
stop.
true, and I love
My
that about you, which
love.
is why I always ditched my friends for a second. I'm like, you just wait. I gotta go hug
Oh my
someone.
God.
But I think we have to get to a point in this new way of interacting with each other that we do a lot of it online, where we celebrate the good and the positive and stop concentrating on the negative. Why did someone, when I get hate mail, and I get it all the
Yeah.
time, I've
But
been called names, why do they waste so
But
much
what's
real
crazy,
estate
though,
in
here's,
here?
Here's what I didn't realize. So that video took off, and someone else reposted it on TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Then it went to like millions and millions and millions of people.
Right.
And someone posted it on their Twitter. It is thousands and thousands of comments. What a idiot, what a loser, who the hell acts like this at this age?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with him? What's wrong with his brain?
Sweetheart.
He acts like this.
God.
And I remember like sharing this really happy moment,
So sad.
and then the people that know me online were really happy about it.
Right.
But I'm like, how sad. That was a special memory for me to have with my dad, and I was
Yeah.
being goofy and funny, celebrating. When I go to a car wash, I get to feel a little piece of my dad.
Right.
I remember the happy memories we had. And then you
And-
share that,
yeah.
thinking it's going to make people happy. I wish if something is not for you, I wish we would, this just beating a dead horse.
Right.
If people just kept their opinions to themselves, no one gets hurt. I don't need to know that you dislike this,
Yeah.
and I get to move on.
It's
Right?
nothing you did,
yeah,
babe.
it's so funny. We've gotten to a
Yeah.
place where we're so we have to tell people we don't like something. If
Yeah.
we see something we
Oh,
don't
yeah, I
like,
need
we
you
have
to
to
know
comment. I need you to know. I
that
don't
I
care
am
what
right
you
and
think,
you're wrong.
but I do
Yeah.
care that you know what I think.
But they feel safer doing that behind
Yeah.
a screen, and they're
Right.
just texting something or online. They wouldn't act that way to your face most of the time. I hope not.
But it negatively contributes as a whole, because now maybe I don't want to post happy, fun videos like that
Right.
anymore. When
Well, I
maybe they
get
could have
called
spread
out.
some joy.
Everybody knows me. I like to
We need
celebrate
joy.
people. I don't want to do
You gotta
like
watch this.
gotcha in media. And I get called out all the time because I like to be a cheerleader. And so you choose to say to everybody who doesn't like being a cheerleader, you don't have to watch it, or I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I want to be the
I mean,
cheerleader.
during COVID and stuff, I remember when I was kind of cranky, life was hard for all of us, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember, like, stuff I would post online, I'm like, why did I say that? I'm like, oh, Harry Styles is so fake with this stuff. And I'm like, why did I say that? And I've been that person before that's angry and that doesn't
And we
stuff.
all are, but the thing
Yeah.
is, where do we? I heard it. You know
Like
that old
working on yourself.
cliche: if you have nothing nice to say about someone, don't say anything at all, or whatever. There's a new one where they say, if you, I heard it this week, if you have nothing nice to say about someone, find something nice to say.
Yeah.
Like we have to rewire. So now, all of this conversation, how do we, I guess, make it? You know, how do we put it policy in place where we flip the script and we make it about how do we, community is so important to me, building community is even more important to me. So what are our opinions on how we can start, because I don't, listen, I'll talk to the mayor, I've talked to you before, I'll be there, I'll be back, I'll bring this to you. But how do we make it, because right now we talk about influencers with disdain, don't you think? That a lot of people are like,
Yeah.
oh, they're an influencer, that's
Yeah.
so great.
And you're
Also,
like,
ugh.
ugh.
You
Even
know?
I have a hard time with
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
self, but
Hearing that word.
But don't you think we can look at it and go, hey, guess what? Because the numbers show it's going to grow by 30.4% for the next decade. Oh, it's not going anywhere. So how can we leverage that in a positive way? Do you ever think about stuff like that? Like when you're in those classes and you're like, I would rather take a nap, because that's how I went to school. Do those things cross you? Do you think those are conversations that could ever be had? What do you think?
I think I'm not sure if the conversations are being had because I'm not a part of those. But I am seeing this trend in state agencies like the National Park Service and Washington Department of Transportation. They're really leaning into the millennial humor and using their social
have
media
noticed that.
accounts to educate people, because a lot of the information that does come from our local governments is really hard to find on their
we
website.
need more of that.
I'm
We need
watching
more of that.
elections being ran off memes. Solely
Oh,
Right,
off
For
right,
real,
right,
for real.
exactly.
Like-
So
For real.
they're trying to be relatable.
There needs to be a balance.
And
Literally.
I don't know. It's gone really far. But I'll just say that. But I think that when you're in a position where you're creating policies for people, you also need to educate those people on, because I think it is by design that this information, this civic duty that we have to participate is limited. I think it's by design because we all work really long days, and the information that is out there can be hard to digest and dissect. And like, what is it, when you look at your ballot and you're like, what is this policy that's going to be implemented? I don't understand what this means. And the language can be very dry. And so I think it is a responsibility of these organizations and agencies to use social media and the people that actually work in these agencies to find plain language and connect with the people that they serve.
And I think the challenge, don't you think that at some level there is like, and it's on both sides, this generational challenge. The older people are afraid we're going to get left behind because everybody's doing this. And then the younger people are like, I need to understand. And if you'll talk to me in my language, I can understand what's going on. So it almost because, what was that? Right? Fleet, right? I used to have a friend who would
No
teach
cap.
me new terms. Yeah, no cap.
I still don't get some. I'm like,
That's
I don't
funny.
know either,
No cap. That's what that is. So it becomes this, what I want to see is a conversation being had where it is intentional. And we lose
There's a-
intentionality and we don't know how to talk to each other.
I think there's a major issue though with the way the platform is set up now, that you're trying to use a platform that is now, it's no longer set up to create communities. It's set up as an advertising resource for advertisers.
Yes.
That's
It's
all
a
it is
little
now.
heavy. It's a little heavy on it,
So
yeah.
like I had a community of supporters that I lost
Right.
from the algorithm change, never got it back. People that love my work
Oh.
and that I spent years building.
And sometimes
So-
I think the algorithm, they tweak it so that they can keep certain things
but
down.
I don't mean this as a woe is
You
me
know.
though. But
I
I mean, it's
believe
hard.
that. I believe
woe is
that.
me. I'm driving me crazy.
But I mean, though, it's hard though. Then now, if you have a good mission in mind, or you want to bring people together, you want to create a community.
Right.
You can't reach the only people that follow you
Right.
that might benefit from that community you're setting up,
Right.
because it's behind a paywall, and Instagram now decides what will be shown, not based on who they follow.
yes,
It's
and
based
they've
on what
changed
their
it again, and they
demographic is.
change it all the time. But I do have to say, which
So-
is...
so I think we need like government like intervention. I think, and the way advertisers
Well,
like.
this is
Or
the
it can't be
fine
called
line.
social
First of
media.
all, this
It's
is
not
why
social.
I enjoy and respect your media, because it isn't based on calculating in the back going, what can I do? It's based on just
I
who
couldn't.
you are.
I couldn't even
Yeah,
do that. I
yours
wouldn't.
is so sincere.
My numbers is. I'm like, what is this? You cannot focus on the numbers too much. But then
No.
again, mine is more of my hobby, so I understand when it's not just your hobby, the frustration and the heaviness that
It's
goes
not paying
with that.
mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I totally get that. It's not a good.
But still,
feeling.
to speak to the point of government, which I'm out here talking like, well, how can we get it into policy? So yeah, I think it's a fine line.
I don't think
Like,
advertisers should have that much access to
I don't
people
think
and
it's-
influence on people.
Corporations
Just
need
I
because
don't
they
think
can
it's
pay
government.
for it.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
cover. It's
Well, it's like look at all the memes that get
Capitalism.
shared on social
yeah,
media
it's
and
capitalism.
stuff.
Yeah, it's capitalism.
it's capitalism.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's the corporations.
But I
and
think if you're called a social media company, you should have a social element of it. And so when you're masquerading as like free throwing opinions and seeing the content you follow and that stuff, when it's actually all selected for you with the intention of selling you something,
But don't-
I think that needs some checking.
Remember
in.
how we were all watching those movies when we were little about how the future is, and it's that? And then now we're here, and I'm like, I wanted more of the flying cars and
Yeah.
less of the...
And I'm only speaking from my salty position where I'm like, there's a lot of people that build communities for different reasons that matter a lot to them, whether that
Right.
be as an artist to sell stuff, whether it be as an influencer to
Right.
create positive change, to influence fashion, to influence happiness.
Well, we have a
So,
tendency in our society. I mean,
to
look
lose
at
that is hard
Yeah,
for
look
people
at
that
Hollywood
have
breaking down right now. Let's be honest. The Me Too movement, where we saw behind a curtain that was not an okay place to be, and then now we have things like P Diddy's in jail right now because of the horrific things that he has done. So we're watching that world, which was built for by people with money, fall apart. And I think it's conversations, and I think that the culture does its very best, or I should say the powers that be do their very best to not have these conversations. And I feel like having more of these conversations might help to come up with ideas. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Because in the end, I talk a lot on my show about supporting indie artists because I know they have the most autonomy of everything. Now, it doesn't mean they have full autonomy, no. But more than anything, so whether you are an independent artist like you are, or an independent filmmaker, or an independent musician, I always tell people that's where our money
I'm
needs to go.
autonomous AF.
See, you're so good. But these are the
Slip
things
that
we're
one
talking
in
about.
there.
So it's like this fine line between I think it's important for us to have independence, but at the same time, a little bit of structure. And how can you have your cake and eat it too? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's the conversation. And these conversations with people in, what you're going through. You're smart woman. And I just felt like saying woman like that. That was really woman.
You're a smart gal.
But you're little lady. You are smart, and you were in a program where it's about how do we now newly influence urban development. I'm not calling Spokane out on some bad urban development because I don't know how to do it, but I'm just
Oh, no,
saying.
it was poor- it was poorly
sometimes
planned. I will
I feel
say
like, do we have urban development?
So what does that? What
We
does
need
that look
we need
like?
more people like you. We need more people. Yeah,
I am
100%.
trying to be a part of this new wave of urban planning and development.
What does
that
it look like though? Do you have people on your staff that are monitoring responses on social media, tracking who's
This is what I'm
looking at
talking
it,
about.
stuff like that? That's what I'm curious.
So it's really interesting
Because if you're
because
diving into it, like, whoa, wow, what are you doing?
Right?
I mean, I follow certain hashtags on Instagram. That's where I get a lot of my information, and so I have, because I just couldn't pay attention to the noise on social media as being chronically online.
We all are. Yeah.
Really had to curate what I was looking at.
Yeah.
And so I don't see your stuff, even though we're friends on,
Which is
Instagram,
weird, yeah.
which is so wild to me. So I try to follow different topics that educate me, but I think what's really interesting is that.
A few things.
I've learned a few things from you, like how you look kind of naked. No, not.
Did you learn anything about my clothes first? There's some real tidbits in there. Knowledge.
Yes, I read Playboy for the articles. That's me.
Exactly.
But most urban planners do work for a government. I don't want to work for the government ever again, so I'll probably be in the private sector. But so they work for the city or for the county, and every county and city, every municipality is ran differently. And so with Spokane, they can't tell you how things should look or what you should develop. They just say, we have these specific requirements and parameters. Do you fit these? And there's like a very small urban design department in Spokane, and they help you as much as they can, but they can't tell you what to do. Now, Seattle has a huge department of urban planning, and I've heard that it takes years to get anything done because you have to go through all these additional hoops. And I mean, I get it; it's a really big city,
right?
And there's no
sunshine, so everyone's cranky.
Yeah, there is a lot to think about in planning a city,
but this is what I mean. I feel like we have done things right. We
That's
have done things
That's
one way. We have done things one way for so many decades.
Yes.
Changing that because we need to look at things through new eyes. I'm not trying to give my job away to, someone who's 20 years younger than I am, but at the same time, we need people who are looking forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think a big part of specifically this field of work is that people don't know that it's an option, especially if you're in high school. Like, I didn't know about it until I was like in my 30s, and now I'm going through it. But we just, don't really know that you can be a part of your community in that way, and helping to shape it and future.
That's why I think we can leverage things like the positivity of people who have that influence. That would be what I would love to see for our lovely newish mayor. I don't think it's almost a year.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
a year?
I think so. Almost. We're not quite there. I would love to see people in cabinet, in her cabinet that are specifically for, how do we leverage our social media? Because that's not going anywhere, it could either be taken by the corporations and made to their own thing, or how can we support the ones that are out there?
I think just having that mindset, like how to look at things as like a person that is interested in urban planning or urban design is just looking at your city in a very certain way. And a lot of social media influencers they have videos about walking a path that is not accessible to people on wheels, and saying come walk down this stretch of road with me and see how difficult it is. And so, or come ride a bike with me in like Copenhagen, and like you get to see your city from a different perspective, and like how walkable it really can be, and how it should not be centered around cars. And so influencers are doing that. And so I think just having that perspective and being able to show different aspects of the city in a way that is not...
Is the social media used to build up enthusiasm for projects that you guys want to support?
I think it can be, and with the projects that I've seen in the city...
And within you guys, do you guys have different projects that you're pitching? Like, I want to do this, but my desk girl right here wants to put in a font here, and that's stupid.
That...
And what's your name?
Oh my God.
They're not...
I'm just curious how it works.
No, I don't think that there really are like pitches, but so every like city government, they have what's called...
So look at these influencers here. They're enjoying in this area. Look at them swimming in this hole. Let's turn that into a condo complex.
They do have really
how it
long-term plans, so like a 10-year plan, 20-year plan.
Okay.
Whoa.
Even SGA has one.
That's what I was curious about too.
Yeah,
Timing,
so
how far ahead do you think?
Yes, and there's also a separate capital management program or plan. So that is like stuff like road work, construction. So you have to, as a planner or someone that works at the city, have to figure out how this master plan works in with the capital management, and then like how does it also make sense with the different transportation agencies. How do we incorporate everyone so that we're not
And how do we use social
doubling
media
work?
to make the public love it?
But
Yeah, or at least gauge.
if we would leverage our social media better, I think we spend the powers that be spend so much time condemning it, or they don't love it unless they control it. And there's got to be a way that it's mirrored. One of the things I love about you as well is I know is that you're involved in community things. I always say if I don't support the community, eventually that community is no longer there.
Yeah.
If I don't support culture in my town, eventually that culture goes away. Now, do I want to be on the couch at home and not talk to anybody and just take a nap with my dog? Yes, I do.
How do you know,
I do,
Jonathan?
I
How do you
do.
know?
I know,
Yeah.
but you show up. You know what I mean?
It's hard, but I try, babe. And
Yeah.
we need more community like this. That will, even if something makes you uncomfortable, you need to be supportive. That's so important. I don't know how else to say it, if that makes
Right.
sense.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those are two things. I mean, we have a mutual friend in
Lots of mutual
Shannon.
friends.
I know. Shannon, who, took
yes.
a time last year to vulnerably share what it was like taking the hatred. You know what I mean? So it's harder, and then wanted a little break. You know, you don't always want to be, and
She
I wanna
deserves
see
the break.
how
She
we-
gets
Yes.
so much from every angle, and I just
Exactly.
she's such a beautiful
That's too
human
bad.
being with the most beautiful heart.
Yes.
I just don't. It is, yeah.
And
This
so
is
what
another
I
friend
want
of
to
you guys'
see, I think it's everything is hand in hand, and I've been called Pollyanna and all these things, and that's my drag name. So whatever.
love
Lightly
it.
seasoned.
Yes, lightly seasoned.
Lightly
Exactly.
seasoned.
But this idea that I think we can do multiple good things with the same tools if we start looking at what the tools are. I think so many people are so married to how it was easier because we knew how it went. But I'm tired of people saying it's different now. I'm sorry. It just is different.
But that's
and it's time for us to accept that.
Yes.
And then what do we do with it? How do we pivot and make that part of our lives, but in a positive way and not in a society is breaking down way?
You have to be open to evolving in every aspect, like personally, spiritually. You have to want to grow, and some people don't.
Yeah.
They're just comfortable, and that's hard.
I wish though, like I said, I wish that social media would make it easier for influencers. I'm gonna call you that because
It's okay,
but
I know
but
you.
you influence a lot of people into having a better day. You put on
Thank you.
fabulous fashion. You show all these people
Yes.
how fucking fierce you are,
Yeah.
and how to dress, how to maybe express their own style, and you inspire that. And so that's the power of social media. The thing that makes me sad is the way that it's going is that you can't reach that own community that you need now, that needs your support and love. And so I hope that we kind of go backwards into how social media used to be when it was more social.
And that's
And
the
so that way we
corporate
can
aspect
find those
of it.
communities. But if like you were saying, you've never seen one of my posts, but you follow me. If I follow someone, I want to see their posts. That's the
That's the
community
that
that I'm
is the
signing up
point.
for.
That
I
is
have
the
to. I have
Yeah.
to
That's the
purposely
point.
look for people sometimes to make sure
Yeah.
am I supporting them.
So
and I
it makes
think
me
of them.
sad
Yeah.
when there's like wonderful people like you that should be seen by all of your followers every day.
You're wonderful
and then
too,
you
babe.
lose that visibility at no fault of your own. And I hate that, especially when I see things that are really positive online and offline. Like
Yeah.
you really so many smiles.
Yes.
I think
Amazing.
Same, babe. You and your dog and your art. I love it. Oh my God. So beautiful.
I think we also have to like embrace innovation and like what we were saying, to try different things and to really connect with people again.
I just would love social media as it was, because you could connect and reach people with really wonderful ideas, wonderful parts about yourself, and all these different things that we don't get to have in our normal lives. We could find a place on there.
Right.
If it's not Instagram or Facebook, because maybe they're sold out by now and they're never going back, I hope something else comes along that gives us the opportunity to share.
And I'm sorry,
what we find special.
I don't
and
think
what we
it's
like.
Threads. I'm so sorry. Please don't. Don't shut me down.
You don't think it's
and
what?
Cancel me.
Threads.
Oh, I can't.
They
don't
keep
know.
pushing it,
What the
and I'm
hell
like,
is
yeah, oh,
It's
Oh my
the-
God.
It's, the
It's like the Twitter of
thing.
Instagram, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
I don't-
So
I have a
it's
hard
porn.
time keeping up. No, what?
Right.
No, that's Twitter.
That's X.
Oh my God.
That's that.
we
They
don't.
named it appropriately.
We don't call it X. We call
No,
it
I
Twitter.
think it's dumb.
Formerly
Yeah.
Twitter.
X
The
for, like,
birdie.
Do parents go on Twitter for like people things? Or
I don't
I
know.
think it's all
Seems
for
like a really-
you
I
can go
deleted
get
my
Seems like a
Twitter.
spicy content.
yeah, it seems like
Yeah,
a cesspool, spicy content,
Yeah.
and
Oh my
inappropriate
God.
things.
I mean, I'm on there, so follow me. Just kidding. I'm not on
I
there.
would never.
But these are the true
Here's
things.
my
I-
OnlyFans.
and here's the thing. Someone mentioned privatization earlier in the conversation, which is also a double-edged sword. But part of me doesn't think we can't change if we don't
You
have a new privatized way of doing things
Of social
that's
media?
not being that's not being
Yeah.
governed by
Well, exactly, yeah.
power and money and
Yeah.
people who are too corrupted. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, absolute
I
power
mean, I
corrupts
think-
absolutely.
Yeah.
I think there are
Absolutely.
maybe some like policies as far as like revenge porn and AI,
Yes,
and
yeah.
people's
To protect
likeness.
people.
Yeah, so hopefully that kind of
And those are the things. We need
yeah.
policymakers who can understand smart policy that
Yeah.
affects good change.
it's just as long
Yeah.
as corporations benefit, they're not going to make any change.
Exactly. As long as there's a billionaire, we're going to have
Right.
It's kind of
corporate
sad though,
greed.
but I've had conversations with my friends, like it has not been talked about once in the media, but like there's some sort of, I feel like someone needs to do something about social media because the amount of power
right.
that platform has to influence someone's
Oh, yeah.
mind, make
Well,
them think something.
and that money-
But when the things that are reaching now are reaching because they're paid for, or there's a
Yeah.
a mechanism to show them exactly what
Yeah.
you want them to see.
Yeah.
But they're under the pretense they're seeing random stuff from their friends. If all they see is like something really horrible, they're gonna think that's real. And
Yeah.
I see that happening right now.
And at the
think
same
it-
time,
but that's
I
where,
don't
like,
trust the
someone needs to be
government
involved because social.
You know what I mean?
I don't
So
trust
you-
the government either. But then again,
Yeah,
who
and that's
helps
the
you,
hard
though?
part.
Because social media right now
That's
is
the
not
hard part.
the users don't have any power to get their content to the people that want to see it.
right.
But
has-
also,
yeah.
like, sorry, like what you
like
were saying
salt
earlier,
and
planning. No, like planning ahead. We're not
Hulk smash.
not trained, or we don't learn like. Don't believe everything you see.
Yeah.
Like how
But
good
that's not
coping
working.
skills to be. Yeah,
Right.
like suckered into like you're just watching all this stuff and the algorithm shoots you down like one thing because you like one thing and you just kind of just start
and they only show you that.
spiraling, and it's not
Yeah.
healthy for younger generations.
No.
Or unless you have some sort of, I don't know the word I'm looking for, like
You have no world awareness when you don't
yeah.
get a big
Exactly.
So now I'm
view
like
of
I'm
things.
seeing too much of one thing. I don't know how it spiraled, but I need to back up for a minute because that's
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
okay.
I watched my television set the other day. I know, we have cable still. And so I don't know why I didn't need it, but I put it on
Yeah.
anyways. And I was watching TV commercials. I felt like I have been living under a rock for 10 years about all these new products I had never heard about,
yeah.
these new services
Yeah.
I'd never heard about. And I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh my God, that's cool. Wait,
Yeah.
that? And I'm like, oh yeah, this is what happens when you see random assortment of things throughout the world so you can form
Right.
your own opinions
But you only
instead
see
of
it-
everything picked for you.
Yeah, if you don't see it from only one thing, so if you're doing online
Yeah.
and you're watching your TV and you're on the news, as long
Yeah.
as you have stuff from different, what's the word, like
Yeah.
avenues,
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah.
then you're okay. If you're just on one, only Instagram and that's it, it's not enough.
So you're
gonna
telling me
get
that
trapped.
because I can waste hours on TikTok, maybe not healthy? Is that what we're saying?
No
No.
comment. I love it.
No comment, right?
Yeah.
And that really is that. So, and here's the other thing that we are taught as we're in the, I've chosen to put myself in public, right? And so the problem is my brain knows, like, do you know what I'm thinking this whole time? I know the top 10 criticisms I'm going to get from this show. What a horrible thing to do. But we're trained that
Yeah.
way. It's almost like it is, maybe I'm getting too conspiratorial, but that's how you control people. You control people through fear and criticism.
Yeah.
That has been proven time and time again over the centuries. And I feel like I'm a guy that will always believe in hope. That's just all. I mean, sometimes it's stupid. I'm like, stay down.
It's
You
not
sappy
stupid, no.
doe-eyed little thing.
No,
Exactly.
we need more cheerleaders like you. We need it. Don't give
positivity.
up.
More
Don't get down.
cheerleaders.
We need more
And
of you,
even
babe.
when you have the people who love to do whatever they do to you and bring you down. That's this conversation. So if this conversation feels Pollyanna or whatever, it's meant to spur on more conversations. If this has struck something with you and you want to talk to your friend about it, the most important thing is that we talk to each other. We don't converse. we don't have conversations. I have friends, Laura, who are not afraid to tell me. I know, but it's true. It's my favorite thing. Not afraid to say when we're in a conversation. It's an actual conversation. This is how I see it. It's not the way this.
Right.
We have to remember what that's like, and we have to continue it. So this show is to, and every roundtable that I ever do this year is to inspire you to have the same conversation with your own people. Because these are important. Where we have, and I hate doing, me, I hate doing a straight-on show. I want an angle. And so I had asked my lovely friend, Vanessa, and I'm like, hey, I want to talk about influencers, but I also want to talk about it from here. I don't want to talk about it straight on. So then I get a hold of Maddie, and I'm like, I need to talk about what it's like to do your art, and yet this is not what you signed up for, but you use it as a tool.
No.
But it's not everything. Then I call Laura, and I'm like, hi, Laura, remember how you told me you were doing urban development? And
Well, hold on. You did not call me.
no, I sat in the chair next to you.
Because I will not pick up that phone.
Me either.
Yeah,
Me either,
text
yeah.
me.
Oh God.
We sat on a couch in
Yes.
my favorite. Anywhere there's
It's our
coffee,
couch.
I'm there.
It is our
It is
couch.
our couch. And we talked, and this is what I like. This is how conversations should happen. I, beg friends to go out with me. I still have so many friends since COVID who will not leave to do something like that. It takes all of your
Same.
convincing
I mean, I'm one of
to
them.
get them.
Same.
I mean, I'm one.
And
I
not-
would
not
rather
intentionally,
be.
but yeah, I'm one of
I'm
them.
still like,
Right?
people.
I
So
know,
get it,
and I'm
yeah.
talking about, I'm thinking about my dog even now I'm here.
I'm thinking
I'm like,
about
he was so
doll
sad
repeat
when I
Same.
left.
Yeah.
Same.
Like, he was
Can we
so
bring our
Repeat
dogs
videos.
next time? Because I want to.
Barbies
Yeah.
and
My dog
different
would cause a
characters.
nightmare.
That's
So
all I
this is
want.
what I would say. So
I like
as
that.
That's why I
we
stay
as we
inside.
wrap this up, I want to. Who wants to go first? We won't force it, but a final thought from each of you on this conversation. Who would like to volunteer that final thought?
There's so much to say.
There
There's
is
so
so
much
much-
that we did
My
not
mind is
cover.
blinking.
Which is what this is about. If you could give people your top 3 things that you wanted people to talk about that we didn't talk about here, what would those top 3
Oh,
things
shoot.
Pumpkin.
Pumpkin. Let's talk about pumpkin only.
Pumpkins,
Pumpkin.
puppies.
Right?
I know glitter.
Also, I do feel like we played so by the rules, and so I just want to say really
I love
quick.
saying your name.
Shit.
Oh my God, you're supposed to be a pumpkin.
I just want to cuss. I felt like it was in you. Shit, there you go. We can do that on a
Cheetos.
podcast. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so top 3 that you would think.
Me.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So one takeaway, I don't know. I guess people should keep in mind is that coming out of the pandemic and with social media having really accelerated things, we are the loneliest generation. We're the loneliest society has ever been. So
It's like the killer whale. Oh my God, it breaks my heart.
It
He's the
is-
loneliest killer whale.
it is.
I'm a crying.
It's
Oh my
it's upsetting and
The loneliest generation. I have not heard that, and
So
yet
cute.
yes,
I know. So profound.
Studies show that we're the
Confusing.
loneliest we've ever been. Even
Your tears are
with
sweet.
they are not.
technology. Yeah, I'm the loneliest.
promise.
No, I drifted off.
Even with the internet helping us to be able to globalize everything, we're still the loneliest that we've been.
Wow.
It is fun.
Wow.
Sorry to bring it down. But
I
that's,
love that.
No, you didn't.
That
It's
is
true.
who I
I
am.
love It's true, babe. It's
so
true.
profound.
It is.
It's, and we're only sad because we're like, oh, that's so
Yeah,
true.
and with Gen Z being this like hopeful generation, they're also so freaking lonely.
Yeah.
They're so detached.
Wow.
So that's one.
Yeah.
What was the question?
I'm gonna call my therapist.
You're like, that
top
was
3
one.
things.
Well, that-
Top 3 things we
top
didn't
three
talk
things.
about that
Oh.
they can add to their conversation.
Okay, so I think I also have very strong opinions about this, but the celebrityism of both social media influencers, normal people who have just blown up, and then the celebrity ism of these elected officials that are supposed to serve us, and how we put people on a pedestal, and social media has made us able to put things on pedestal.
Put the
and
wrong people on pedestals.
well,
Yeah.
just
Well, and
everyone.
forget that
just
we're
everyone.
all
We're people.
people.
We're
Yeah.
all. Everyone is a person,
Bottom
even
line.
if they are a billionaire and we're not living on the same planet. They're still a person, but we'll have nothing in common.
If you would like to give me $1 billion, I'll show you how to do it correctly.
Yeah.
I'm really
Yes.
good at
Everyone
spending
I
gets
money.
could spend it
puppies.
so good.
I've been practicing my
Right,
whole life.
exactly. Okay, number 3.
Number 3, I don't know, because I feel like Kurt's staring at us like we got to wrap this up.
He already gave me the
I know.
minute
yeah,
mark.
Yeah, he's like, 5 minutes. So the other two can also share their last thoughts.
Love that. Okay, if you were to leave us with one thought about this conversation, what would it be?
I would say, social media can be a really powerful tool for creating positive change, and it can be utilized. It can be utilized for anything, right? But I hope you guys pay attention to how specific things have gotten to being selected for you, so that you will make decisions based on things bigger than just what you're seeing on social media. It's incredibly influential, but I just know we're getting a little led astray, as I've mentioned many times now, that the followers are no longer in control of their own stuff.
No,
And
yep,
so with
exactly.
when you lose control of your own message you're trying to deliver, that's when there's a problem. So I would just hope everyone would be a little more understanding of
Right, I agree with you.
of all that, and think logically and do some research on things or get to know somebody. I don't know.
Beautiful. I love that.
Yeah.
Now, my lovely Vanessa, what do you think?
What they said. No.
And ditto.
Yeah, that's it. No. I learned so much sitting here with you guys. I never knew what the urban planning thing was, and I just
Not a lot of people do. It's wild.
We just need so much more. I feel like I need to look into it more. Everybody should, if that makes sense.
Yes.
I don't know what else to say. What was the question? What were we supposed to talk about?
Yeah, whatever you want to leave
Yeah,
the
take
people
away.
with.
Take away.
You are beautiful. Community is important. If somebody has a problem with you, they're a poopy. It's not your problem. I love you.
I love that. And finally, thank you so much for tuning in. I love that people let me do these sorts of things, so thank you. I would say my final thought is live with intention. Be intentional about who you support. The artists around you, the people you love. Be intentional about that, because I think we get lost in letting people choose for us when we gave up our intention. So I would say do that. I would also say please have conversations with your friends. Come to Lunarium, go to coffee shops, talk to your friends and your family, just because conversations strengthen community and our interpersonal bonds. And so I would say let's do that. Now, before we wrap up, everybody we're going to raise our glasses to Lunarium for letting us be here. And I'm going to do a little, and then I'm going to do a little take. Everybody got a spoon? Here, grab that one.
That's how toast work.
Everybody grab a spoon and we're going to make a little ting ting.
Where's my
ting.
spoon? Oh.
Anywhere you find one. Okay, ready? Thank you so much. This was so much fun. You guys, if you're in the Spokane area, please come and support, like we said, be intentional. Support Lunarium. They're on North Monroe. They are so fun.
They're the best.
They're a late night
Good
coffee and tea
vibes.
place.
Yes.
Good vibes.
Which we don't have anymore, especially since COVID. So it's a lot of fun. I love having these conversations. I love every single one of you. You guys make
love
my
you
life
more.
better. And even Curter, who's back here.
We love Curter.
He's
If you
being
can
a
see his
prickly
face, so
bear.
cute.
With a
That's
big
what
beaming smile
He
on.
reminds me of a penguin.
Teeth lighting up the room.
He is. Okay, well, we love all of you. Please follow every single person who's on this,
Don't
on the
follow
table. I'll get on the table if that's what it takes. But until next time, everybody, we'll see you then. Bye.
Where's the kid?
I don't really know what comes next. I'm just doing my best, even though I'm so stressed out. Everything just feels like a test that I fail, so depressed when I can't seem to get out. But something